Welcome to SGS Talks Sport. Today we've got an exciting guest and it's Rodolfo Borrell. Rodolf has worked his way up the coaching ranks at FC Barcelona, Liverpool Football Club and today at Manchester City. So enjoy and over to Rodolf.
I hope it's interesting. So
Yeah.
The first thing I would say that everything started, I don't come from a football family. Actually, football in my family means almost nothing, which is quite strange. I've been the black sheep for a while since I got appointed at Football Club Barcelona back in 2005, 2006, around there. Everything, I suppose, it started back when I was a child because we used to live with my family in a town near Barcelona, where from our apartment, it was possible to see 3/4 of the local football pitch. My mom, I don't remember that, but my mom always said that I could be for hours watching from the balcony down to the football pitch, which was great for them because obviously I was not disturbing too much. I don't remember that, but I always have been told that. By the age of 10, 11, 12, I would ask my parents to let me in that local training ground to watch games over the weekends. This is actually one thing that sounds strange because nowadays it's almost impossible to think you're going to leave your child, your 10 to 12-year-old child, alone watching games on a local training pitch. But by then, this was not a normal thing, but was, let's going to say, more safe. And was a very much local environment. So I would ask for little money to have a couple of Coca-Colas and some nuts while watching games nonstop. During the afternoons, usually on Saturdays, which was quite crazy because nobody who I knew was playing. But this was very close to home, and this is what I used to ask to do. After that, I would say that I played football to a good level until the age of under 18. My parents gave me lots of opportunities to learn different kind of things. I did music, taekwondo, I remember, athletics, football, in addition to school, obviously. For my parents, was very important for me to get into the best school possible, as I'm doing, I believe, for my children, bringing my children to your place. So education and a lot of sports and lots of activities. And this sports, I always believe that I got at one stage where I thought, listen, you're doing lots of things, but you're not focusing in one. So let's say that after the age of under 18, when I was going to become professional as a football player, let's going to be honest, I was not a top player. I was like, let's say, what would be equal to a lower League One player, talking in British terms, which is fine. But for whatever reason, I decided that I would not waste my time anymore, and I would focus in what I wanted to be. That was a football coach. So for a very young age, I was very clear in my mind. It was very clear in my mind. I had passion for football and for coaching. So I decided to leave absolutely everything and to focusing in studying, because at this point is when I got into the University of Sports. We have a University of Sports in Barcelona. There is only in a few places in Spain, one in Madrid, another one in Barcelona, another one in the south of Spain. It's a five-year career university. Right now it's 4 years, but when I did it, it was 5. And I thought I leave everything and I focus on that very much, and this is what I did. I also believe that practice is very important. So before even getting into the university, I started coaching in a football school. like yours.
Yeah.
But after 1 year, I realized that nobody was looking at my job. So I was coaching the kids, and that was very fantastic. But nobody was like looking at what I was capable to do.
Yeah.
So I went to my local. By then, my family changed, and we lived into another place. And then I went to the local team. That is a League One team, by the way, the first team.
Yeah.
And I asked for a job with the children. They said me, okay, if we have an opportunity, we will call you. So they ignored me in some sort of way. By then was 1991, and this means in 1991 is the year I got into the University of Sports.
Yeah.
And why I explain this, because in 1991 was the year previous to the Olympic Games in Barcelona.
Yeah, 92.
The Olympic Games were in 1992. The University of Sports were meant to be the place where I think was boxing was a new build. Mm-hmm. So the city used the opportunity to build some new facilities, and one of them was the new University of Sports. And in there was going to be the place where boxing and something else was meant to be done. In that year, 1991, it was my first year in the university, and many schools of different types were coming to visit the Olympic sites.
Yeah.
So the same guy one day in between classrooms, the same guy that interviewed me for the job in my local training ground, my local team. Saw me over there and said, listen, if you would be interested in coaching the kids, come this afternoon and we can speak about. So I went in the afternoon. In the afternoon, he told me, listen, we have the kids 6 to 8, 9 years old that we don't find anybody who wants to coach them.
Yeah.
So... And it was a club where it was pay to play in some sort of way. So with this money, some sort of way, you were sponsoring the money the professionals were the first thing were getting. So I accepted after some negotiations as far as I would be able to do what I wanted and bringing the people that I wanted to coach the kids alongside me, because we're different ages. Yeah. I have to say that was a place for pay to play, but with lots of kids, an area with lots of children. So yeah, I actually ended coordinating around 120 kids between the ages of 6 and 9. Yeah. I explain all of this because later will make sense to you. Yeah. That's why I explain all of this step by step.
I'm enjoying this bit.
So in the end, what I did is coordinating all the groups, and obviously I was coaching some of the groups. Mm-hmm. Among them, I made a selection of the best children of 6, 7 years old, because by then my target was to be coach at Football Club Barcelona, which was a crazy thing for a non-former player, because this is a business mainly for players and former players. This is the reality. Yeah. So to have access to a place like this, coming from a family where football means almost nothing, and having not played the game at the high level, was going to be a very difficult task. Yeah. So I made a selection of the best 6, 7 years old, and one day in one of the locker rooms, I asked for a meeting with the parents of these children, and I explained them that my goal was to be to be Football Club Barcelona coach. Obviously, they look at me a little bit like
you
crazy. Yeah. By then, these kids were training twice a week. So the meeting was about telling the parents this and telling them that to do this, I had to build the best under 10 team in the region. Why this? Because by then, the youngest Football Club Barcelona team was under 11. Yeah. So to build their under 11s, they had to look at all the under 10s to pick them and build their under 11 as the youngest. So my side was to become youth head coach at one of the young teams at Football Club Barcelona, and I took these children, and then I said to the parents, to do this, I have to build. We have to become the best team, and to do this, what we're gonna do is coaching 4 times a week instead of 2 times a week. You are gonna pay for 2 days, but I'm gonna do 2 days for free.
Yeah.
And in addition of that, I always have believed that football is not only a game that you play on the pitch, if not that interaction in between players is very important at the different levels. So by the summertime, I used to, I don't know, to get them together and go to the local swimming pool or to organize different kind of one-day trips.
Yeah.
Different things in order to build more interaction in between them, so to build a team.
Yeah.
And well, this was 1 year, 2 years, and in the 3rd year when they became under 10, I still remember today was January the 8th, and I was first in the league, beating all the teams by 13-1, 9-0, and things like that. And a Football Club Barcelona guy came to watch the game. We were first in one of the regional leagues. We were playing against the second. Obviously, it was an interesting game for Barcelona. Tried to pick up players, and at halftime, I still remember the guy coming to me and saying, "You are the coach of these children?" I said, "Yes, I am." So in the end, this turned to be a game in between my team and the players that they already had selected for the following season.
Yeah.
At already like 11, 12 players. So I was invited to the Football Club Barcelona training ground with my team, and we beat them 5-0. And they ended appointing me, and in addition to sign 6 of my players. Okay.
Yeah.
So the following season is when I became the first idea. Then this was the first time that Barcelona was thinking to build teams younger than under 11s. So they were trying to build like what is the current the football school, let's say. And my first job was coordinator of this, in addition to coach some groups. This became quite a lot of a disaster because who were coaching these teams were, let's gonna say, the parents of some of the children. It's a long story to explain. These were the very beginnings of the school. And after 3-4 months, I remember going to my bosses and telling, listen, at the end of the season, I will leave. Mm-hmm. Because my dream was to come to Barcelona, but this is not what I was thinking of. Yeah. This is far from what I want. Obviously, what is happening, it doesn't represent what I want with these coaches, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, this was the year that Johan Cruyff, I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah,
famous, yes. This was the last year of Johan Cruyff as a coach at Football Club Barcelona first team. So before leaving, I was called and I was offered the under 11 Football Club Barcelona team for the following season. Yeah. And like this, it all started. So I coached the under 11s for 1 season, under 12s 2 seasons, under 14s 4 seasons, under 16s 2 seasons, under 17s 3 seasons. And well, later is when I joined Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
Rafa Benitez back in 2009, when he did a contract extension, was trying to look after the academy in terms of building the academy towards what he was trying to do into the first team. And obviously, I was coming from an expertise on doing that because Football Club Barcelona is famous for developing players and teams with the same concepts and the same idea looking towards the first team. And he wanted somebody who would help the technical director to develop the technical program in addition to coach the highest team at the academy, that by then was the under 18s, because the reserves were training at Melwood. That was another training ground. Liverpool has 2 training grounds. Right now, from this week, it's going to be
together.
One, yes. Melwood actually is going to disappear. And I was this person. So Rafa Benitez called me. I didn't know him at all.
Yeah.
And he called me, and I still remember saying, "Hello, I'm Rafa Benitez. Do you know who I am?" And then I say, "Yes, of course, but why we don't speak in Spanish?" And then he said, "Because I'm checking on your English level." I said, "Okay." So, and this was the idea. The idea was to help develop the technical program at the academy, and in addition, coach the under-18s, so all the other coaches could watch on a daily basis what I was doing on the training pitch. From there, under-18s, a couple of years, then I coached the reserves, then I became academy technical director, and then the story is long, academy technical director at Manchester City, and back in 2016 is when Pep Guardiola came. Story is long of my how I met him. Also interesting, but it's long. And it's when he proposed me to be one of his assistants into the first team at Manchester City, and from 2016 is where I am. Well, this is one of the things that I think for your pupils could be interesting. Every one of us, I believe, has a talent for something. Some more than others. But I can say that I have seen very much gifted players. I'm talking now about football, and I believe it could be applied to anything. I've had very talented players who has become nothing. Because sometimes talent leads to not working hard enough, to not be disciplined, to think that things are coming too easy. And I can say I've had some cases, obviously, of very talented players like Lionel Messi or Cesc Fabregas or Gerard Piqué that's still playing at Barcelona. All these players that obviously are very fantastic and very talented for a very young age. But I can say that through working hard and focus and discipline and having obviously the right teaching, you can become a very good professional player. And I believe in any sort of thing in life you can achieve through this way too. So in the end, you make a great team when selflessly everyone is ready to put on the table everything for the benefit of the group. When you have a group of players that haven't achieved things, haven't achieved trophies, silverware, I'm not going to say it's easy, but people is more ready to selflessly put things on everything for the group in order to achieve things. But I always have said that the most difficult thing is to remain on top. So to win, for example, the Premier League is very, 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 very difficult, but to keep winning is the most difficult thing. Because from the moment that you have achieved something, that you win something, the focus is on you. You are the team to beat. And the media is a lot more on you. And this start to affect the egos of the players. So it means like from the moment that you have won, some players, I think it's more because of me than because of the other one. I think they are talking too much of him scoring goals while they have to be talking more about how I'm defending, for example. And to keep all this together in order to keep winning is very difficult. So I would say winning is very difficult, but the most difficult thing is to build a team that keep winning consistently. All right. In terms of mindset, I would say there has to be people where football, in this case, like in any other profession, has to be their priority number one. Which nowadays this is a very difficult thing because they are young, because they have lots of money, because most of them, they don't have an academic background. No. And this is the reality. That's why. But strength, resilience is very important. The day to day, how you prepare for the games, the nutrition, rest, all these kind of things are very important for their performance. Some others, like injuries, when they have a long-term injuries, it's very hard, and they realize that they are normal people, because actually everyone speaks about you, but when you get an ACL, for example, and you're out of the game for 7 to 9 months, the media speaks about you when you get injured, when you get surgery, and suddenly you disappear.
Yeah.
And nobody speaks about you. And this is very difficult. And sometimes long-term injuries make you realize the players the reality. All right. But having said that, again, remaining strong in difficult moments. Yeah. Trying to get out of to get back from injuries even stronger than they were. I don't know, all these kind of things. One of the things would be never give up.
Yeah.
But this is personally and for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Respect for each other. And this means respect for your teammates and respect for your coaches as well. Mm-hmm. I believe it should be at school. So respect for the teachers and respect for your mates. Another one would be, so be honest and give your very best every single time.
Yeah.
My advice would be try to find what you have passion for. Sometimes it's difficult, and in my case, I was very clear from a very young age. Sometimes you are not that clear from such a young age.
Yeah.
I believe it's very important to find what motivates you, what makes you wake up in the morning and wanting to go to work.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to be able to do so, and I would encourage everyone to try to find what they have passion for.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I would like to say that they cannot take any lesson or any teacher for granted. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah.
That's a word, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you never know the inspiration where it can come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have said that a training session, and in your case, a lesson wasted, it can never be recovered.
Yeah.
So I would say that working hard on a daily basis, focusing and trying to listen and learn from all the different teachers in your case that you have at school, and focusing in every single lesson, trying in the end to find what they have passion for, and when they find the passion they have for, throw absolutely everything at it in order to, and try to make it a profession. Like in coaching, for example, I always have said that coaching, and I believe teaching is exactly the same, because at the end of the day, coaching is teaching one sport. To me, it's not a profession. To me, it's a vocation.
Yeah.
And it's a vocation that eventually it becomes a job. And in case of coaching, is a job that if you keep throwing everything at it, it becomes a job very well paid, like everyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, you transfer knowledge when you have passion for it.
Yeah.
When you have passion for something, when you have vocation for something. That's why, for example, when I've been academy technical director, one of the most important things, and I believe in at school should be the same, is trying to find the right person for every single age group.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are coaches, and I'm talking now about football because I don't want to get into your business. Sometimes there are coaches who are very good, exceptional for coaching little ones, but they are not that good for coaching older ones, or the opposite. This doesn't mean you are better, you are worse. But in the end, it's important to put every single coach with the right age group in order to get all the best out of them. Actually, for example, I have to say that one of the persons who has inspired me the most is Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
And Pep Guardiola, because usually former player tends to pretend to live as a former player when they become coaches.
Yeah.
And he's completely opposite.
Oh, okay.
So he's a former player with a work rate and a work ethic of a non-former player.
Right.
Sometimes I tell him this. And this is what makes him great.
Yeah, his work rate.
The work rate, the ethic is unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. And obviously, in addition, he has everything. He has been a top former player in a top club like Football Club Barcelona. He has a great vision. He has a beautiful mind in some aspects of the game. And in addition, the work rate and the ethic is surreal.
Yeah. So for me, the harder you work.
So for example, for our last game against Liverpool, we had meetings about trying to work how to break them down. Like the last 3 days were around 8 to 9 hours a day.
Wow.
For example. And this is going to a game every 3-4 days, So it's crazy. And this is what makes him great. So some people think that things come like easy, and things are not coming easy. If you want to achieve and you want to be the very best and you want to achieve things, obviously, if you want to be one more, it's okay. But if you want to be like something great, to become and to do great things, it takes that. Well, I think this is the right approach. This is the approach that I would do. The most important at a younger age is technique.
Yeah.
So developing technique, in the end, what makes the difference in any sport is technique.
Yeah.
But again, to teach technique, you need to have people who love to teach technique.
Yeah.
Because if not, so it's like all of us as football coaches, we can, for example, in my case, I can coach technique. Yes, I can coach technique. Tactics, everything. We all can coach everything. But what I love to do, I love tactics.
Yeah.
So, for example, to me, when I tried to build the academy at City and at Liverpool, was trying to find the coaches who love to teach technique.
Yeah.
Because if you have vocation to coach technique, you transfer the knowledge of technique. Yeah. But again, so technique at a young age would be like this, tactics would be like this, and progressively throughout the ages, this would go this way. Yeah. All right. And again, also, yes, I agree with you. As many sports as possible. Because to get too much specific with one sport, sometimes there is a child which is extremely clear. Yeah, is very good at one sport, and you're trying to focus very much on that one. Yeah. But even so, you should try to do different sports to develop in many different ways. And obviously, this is depending a lot on the child. I don't think you can talk in general for all the children. Yeah. But as a school, yes, I think the approach is right to get them involved in as many sports as possible until they find something that it becomes that they have more passion, or or they are more gifted, or they
Yeah.
are actually more gifted. Again, if I try to think in situations like I have lived, I've had some players where from a very young age it was very, very, very clear they were going to become professionals to me.
Yeah.
Yes. And some others that is not so clear.
Yeah.
But it's never bad. It's never bad that they try multiple sports and until the age. Usually, you would say more specialized. In general terms, you would say around the age of 14 or something like that. A school approach, I believe, should be completely different. And as you're doing, trying to involve them in as many sports as possible, and this not to become a specialization until later in the journey when they have very clear what they want to do or what they are gifted for.